Hey guys, I just wanted to do a little video on the ASVAB test or the PiCAT. The PiCAT is basically the ASVAB test that you get to take at home on your computer. It's not timed. It's the same 10 sections as the ASVAB. No cheating. You can't use a calculator or any other outside resource, including asking your friend for help. The only difference is it's not in a testing room with somebody watching over your shoulder, making sure you don't cheat. Um, but it's, from everything that I've seen, it's pretty much the same test. Some people have said that it's a fewer amount of questions, but the actual difficulty and the content is pretty similar to the actual ASVAB test that you would take at MAPS or some other testing center. I haven't taken the actual ASVAB, so I couldn't tell you if that was accurate or not. I've only taken the PiCAT. But yeah, it's your recruiter will give you, if you're doing the PiCAT, your recruiter will give you a website and a little access code or a password. You have 72 hours from the time your recruiter sets that up to take the actual test. If for some reason you need to stop in the middle of the test, like your internet goes out or something, you do have some time to come back and finish the test. I want to say it's 24 hours. However, I don't recommend trying to intentionally start part of it and then come back later. I didn't, and I ended up being able to sit through the whole test and complete it. That's going to be your best bet. Just get it done. But if for some reason, technology isn't perfect, if for some reason you do get interrupted, you can go back to finish the test. I don't know how that works. Like I said, I didn't do that. I didn't have any problems, thankfully. I know my recruiter said it'll ask you to set up a new password, and it didn't. It just, the one-time use code that they give you was all that I put in. It never came up to change it, so I don't know if that's something that only happens if you get interrupted. I have no idea. Maybe it was just a fluke that it didn't come up for me. But, yeah, so you get 10, there's 10 sections in the PiCAT. I don't remember what they all are, but it's arithmetic, reasoning, paragraph comprehension, word knowledge, math knowledge, spatial, not spatial recognition, assembling objects, mechanical, electrical, general science. It's the same as the regular ASVAB. You can find what the sections all are, but so you take the PiCAT, you log on, you get your scratch paper. It'll tell you not to cheat. It'll tell you you can't use a calculator, all that. But honestly, there's no way of knowing if you cheat or not. So I don't recommend cheating. I don't find that it's necessary, but if you want to cheat, that's on you. But as far as I'm concerned, there's no reason to cheat. The test is easy enough. But so you take the ASVAB. It took me about 2 hours, or the PiCAT rather. It took me about 2 hours from start to finish. Once you're done, you hit submit or whatever, next on whatever the button says. Your scores should be ready fairly quickly in a few minutes. You have to call your recruiter or text them. My recruiter was like, hey, let me know when you're done. So I sent him a text. I took it on a Friday afternoon, Friday evening. And so I sent him a text message saying, hey, I'm done with my PiCAT. And he's like, great, I'll get your score in a minute. Then he sent me back a text and he's like, oh, I forgot my cable for my computer. Is it okay if I get it for you in the morning? And I was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. I'm not in a big rush for it. I know I did okay. Apparently my recruiter didn't realize that it was a Friday evening and he wasn't in the office during the weekend. So he never got my scores for me. I wasn't super concerned about it, so I didn't send him another text. And I ended up going to MEPS Monday, or spending the night in the hotel on Sunday, and then went super early Monday morning. So he couldn't have even texted me Monday what my scores were, because by that point I was already at MEPS and I didn't have my phone with me. But So yeah, you have to take a confirmation test with the PiCAT. It's 30 questions. You get 45 minutes to finish the confirmation test. If for some reason you don't confirm your score, the confirmation test will roll immediately into the actual ASVAB test, and that's the score that you will get, is the one that you just completed. So don't cheat, so that way you can confirm your score. There's quite a few questions on the confirmation test that are the exact same question that was on the PiCAT. So as long as you're not cheating and you're taking your own test, you shouldn't have a problem. And then the questions that are new questions you haven't seen before are about the same level difficulty as what your other questions were on the PiCAT. It's just seeing, did you use a calculator? Did you look up all your answers? Can you answer this question now? So it took me about 10-15 minutes to finish the confirmation test because there were quite a few repeats. So you already remember what you put. And then after you're done with your confirmation, you do the confirmation at MAPS, or I suppose you could do it at a testing center. I don't know. I did mine at MAPS. That's probably how most people will do it, but I don't know, depending on where you live. If you live 6 hours from MAPS, you might do it somewhere else. But yeah, so after the confirmation test, if you confirm it, you get to keep your score, and then you are done with that portion. I didn't actually study for my test, so I can't offer you any study tips or hints or anything like that. There's plenty of resources out there. A really popular one seems to be the ASVAB for Dummies book. I've heard lots of good things about it. I personally haven't used it, so I can't tell you my experience with it. But other than that, just take the test serious, but don't take it so serious that you stress yourself out. Yeah, if you have any questions or anything, you can let me know and I'll answer them, or find somebody who knows the answer and get it for you. But other than that, yeah, it's a pretty standard test. It's lots of different questions. Some of them you're like, I have no idea why I want to know this, but okay, here's the information, whatever. It's not a super difficult test for most people. Some people struggle really bad with it, but if you need to study, then there's tons of resources out there. It's easy to find. Take lots of practice tests until you feel comfortable, and then you'll be able to do all right on your actual test. I did a practice test in my recruiter's office when I first met with him, and then when I took the actual test, I ended up scoring 18 points higher on the actual test than I did the practice one, which that's a little bit higher than normal, but most people do end up doing better on the actual test than they do the practice test. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I have seen a few cases of people doing worse on the actual test than the practice one, and I suspect that it's just because they got into their head and got psyched out for the test and put a little pressure on themselves, and not because the test was actually harder than the practice one. My recruiter said that most people average about 10 points higher on the actual test than the practice one. So if you're kind of right on that line on the practice test, just know that you'll probably do better on the actual one. And then you can always study before you take it. But yeah, that was my experience. It was about 2 hours of answering questions and doing all that, and then you go in and confirm your score. You have to confirm your score within 30 days, otherwise you have to retake the test. It wasn't an issue for me. I actually did it, and took my test on Friday, confirmed my score on Monday. Your recruiter will know all this, and so they'll set you up with a date to confirm it within that 30 days. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll do my best to answer.